Hello, welcome. Come in and sit down for a moment. Let's talk about a promise. A promise so vast, so audacious, that if you truly let it in, it could change everything. It's a whisper you perhaps heard in the quietest moments of your life, underneath all the worry and the rush. The whisper that says, nothing and nobody will ever hurt you again. Now, if you're like me, the first time you hear that, you might think, that's beautiful, but it's nonsense. Because you've been hurt. You felt the sting of a cruel word, the ache of loss, the cold grip of fear. Life hurts. It's full of sharp edges. To say otherwise seems like a fantasy, a denial of reality itself. But what if I told you that this promise, which lies at the very heart of the Alan Watts philosophy, is not a denial of reality, but an invitation to see a deeper reality? What if the hurt you feel isn't coming from where you think it is? This isn't about building a higher wall around yourself. It's about realizing you were never truly inside a fortress to begin with. You are the whole landscape. So let's explore this, not as a dry academic lesson, but as a game, a cosmic game of hide and seek. And by the end of our time together, perhaps that whisper will feel a little more like a voice you recognize as your own. One, the magic trick of pain and suffering. All right, let's start with the most common misunderstanding. When we hear, nothing will ever hurt you again, we imagine a life where we never feel pain, where we never stub our toe, never feel heartbreak, never get sick, never feel afraid. That's not just impossible, it would be boring, like a symphony with only one constant, pleasant note. You'd stop hearing it after a minute. The Alan Watts philosophy makes a brilliant and truly life-saving distinction. It's the difference between pain and suffering. Think of it this way. Pain is a sensation. It is immediate. It is the raw signal of life. The sharp heat when you touch a flame. The heavy sadness when you say goodbye. The throbbing in your head when you're ill. This is biology. This is nature. It comes, and if you let it, it goes. It's like a cloud passing through the sky. The sky doesn't resist the cloud. It simply allows it to be there and then to move on. Now, suffering is what we add to the pain. Suffering is the story. It's the voice in your head that says, why me? This shouldn't be happening. This is unfair. I can't stand this. This proves I'm a failure. Suffering is the mental fist we clench against the reality of the moment. The pain is the stub toe. The suffering is the hour you spend afterwards, fuming, complaining, reliving the moment, blaming the table for being in the way, and generally making yourself miserable far beyond the initial sensation. Do you see the magic trick? The world hands you a simple, clean pain. And you, the magnificent story telling you, turn it into an epic drama of suffering. You are the alchemist who turns lead into more lead, but you think it's gold. So, when Alan Watts says, nobody will ever hurt you again, he is saying that no external event can force you to create that suffering. They can hand you the pain, but you have the key to the factory where the suffering is manufactured. You can, with practice, simply stop production. This is the first great liberation. You stop being a victim of the world and become a player in it. The rain falls, but you are no longer the person shaking your fist at the sky. You are the person who notices the rain, feels its wetness, and maybe even dances in it, understanding that rain is a necessary part of the whole beautiful, messy game of being alive. 2, you are not who you think you are. This leads us to the second, even more mind-bending part of the Alan Watts philosophy. To really get why you can't be hurt, we have to look at this thing you call you. Right now, you probably feel like a self, a conscious passenger, sitting behind your eyes, inside your head, looking out through 2 little windows at a world that is outside of you. You feel like a tiny, fragile island in the middle of a vast, and sometimes very stormy, ocean. The ocean is everything that is not you, other people, events, the past, the future. And when the waves get rough, the island feels threatened. It gets hurt. But what if that's a brilliant trick? What if the island is not separate from the ocean at all? Alan Watts loved this idea. He said, we are not merely in the universe. We are the universe. We are an expression of it. Just like a wave is an expression of the ocean. A wave isn't a separate thing that is suddenly born, lives for a few seconds, and then dies. It is the ocean waving. It is a temporary activity of the whole sea. You are the universe, personing. You are a temporary activity of the whole cosmos. Your body is made of stardust. The water in you has flowed in rivers and clouds since the beginning of time. The energy in your cells is the same energy that fuels the sun. The idea that you are a separate ego, a skin-encapsulated soul as what's put it, is a convincing and very useful illusion for navigating daily life. But it is ultimately an illusion. Now feel this. If you are the universe, then what is happening to you? When a cloud blocks the sun, is the sun being hurt? When a leaf falls from a tree in autumn, is the tree harmed? No, it is simply the tree being a tree, the sun being the sun. The leaf was always part of the tree. The cloud is part of the same system as the sun. When someone insults you, it is the universe expressing itself as that person, interacting with the universe, expressing itself as you. It's a dance. Sometimes it's a graceful waltz, sometimes it's a clumsy stumble, but it's all part of the same movement. From this perspective, the very idea of an external other who can attack the real you starts to dissolve. The hurt loses its target. It's like trying to punch the air. Your fist just moves through it. This is not a cold, impersonal idea. It is the most intimate truth imaginable. It means you belong. You are not a stranger in a strange land. You are the land itself, experiencing its own strangeness, its own beauty, its own pain, and its own joy. Free, playing the game of black and white. So, we have pain without unnecessary suffering, and we have the realization that the separate self is a game. This brings us to the final piece, understanding the game itself. Life, in the Allan philosophy, is seen as a kind of divine play, a cosmic game of hide and seek. God, or the universe, or whatever you want to call the ultimate reality, gets bored with being everything, everywhere, all at once. So what does it do? It plays a game. It pretends to be not itself. It hides. It becomes you and me, and the tree and the stone. It becomes limited, specific, and vulnerable. Why? For the fun of it. For the adventure of discovering itself again. And every game needs opposites. You can't have up without down. You can't have light without darkness. You can't have the sound of a symphony without the silence between the notes. And you cannot have a feeling of safety, love, and joy without the contrasting feeling of danger, fear, and pain. They define each other. You would not know what comfort was if you had never been uncomfortable. You would not appreciate health if you never experienced sickness. The hurt is not a mistake. It's not a sign that the game is broken. It is a fundamental rule of the game. It is the black in the magnificent painting that allows the white to shine. When you resist the black, when you scream and cry that it shouldn't be there, you're like an actor on a stage who gets angry at the villain in the play, forgetting that you are all part of the same cast, putting on a show. When you truly understand this, you stop fighting the dark parts. You accept them as necessary. You might even learn to appreciate them. The pain of a broken heart is the proof of your incredible capacity to love. The fear of failure is the shadow side of your deep desire to create and achieve. So, nothing will ever hurt you again means that you finally understand the rules of the game. You stop taking your temporary role so seriously. You play your part with passion. You laugh, you cry, you feel the pain. But somewhere deep down, you remember that you are also the audience, marveling at the drama. And you are the playwright who wrote the whole thing for the experience of it all. So there it is, the stunning truth. You cannot be truly hurt, not because you are invincible, but because what you truly are is too vast, too fundamental, to be injured by the fleeting events happening within it. The Allan philosophy is an invitation to relax, to let go, to stop clenching so tightly to the idea of being a separate, fragile self that needs constant protecting. It's an invitation to fall back, trustingly, into the arms of the universe, which are in fact your own arms. This doesn't mean you become passive. Quite the opposite. When you are no longer paralyzed by the fear of being hurt, you can engage with life more fully, more courageously, and with more joy. You can love more deeply because you are no longer terrified of loss. You can create more boldly because you are no longer crippled by the fear of failure. You start to flow with life like water Water is soft and yielding, but it can wear down the hardest rock. It doesn't resist. It adapts. It fills the cracks and flows around the obstacles. And in the end, always finds its way to the ocean. And so the next time you feel that familiar sting of hurt, I invite you to pause. Ask yourself, is this the clean pain of life, or am I manufacturing suffering with my thoughts? And then take a deeper look. Look at the person who seems to be hurting you and see the universe in them. Look at yourself and see the universe in you. See the whole dance. And perhaps, just perhaps, you'll smile because you'll remember the secret that in this great cosmic game, you're both the player and the prize. And nothing that is truly you can ever be lost or broken. Thank you for listening.